Good morning, and thank you all for joining us here at the Garrison Metro North Station. This station, which was built in 1892, has actually, people from this area have been commuting into the city since the 1850s. So we are in a place that's steeped in history, and the beauty of the Hudson River is right there. And just wanted to take this opportunity as we're looking at some of the upgrades along our entire system. I said, I actually want to get a visual. I want to come out and see how we're changing the customer experience for our commuters, but people just use it casually, those who come into the city for entertainment and shows. And there has not been a major capital upgrade to this particular station since the late 1990s. So we just completed a nearly $3 million investment. And this is how we demonstrate our commitment to every single community along our rail lines and doubling down on our efforts to make sure that the hardworking people right here in the Hudson Valley have an exceptional experience. I want to acknowledge those who've joined me here today. We have Jano Lieber, the chair and CEO of the MTA. You'll be hearing from him. Kathy Rinaldi, our president of the MTA. Neil Zuckerman, a finance chair of the MTA, who lives right here. John Van Tassel, our Phillipstown supervisor. Kathleen Foley, our mayor of the village of Cold Spring. Chris Winward, the village of Nelsonville mayor. And Lee Carriacu, mayor of Beacon. And Nancy Montgomery, Putnam County legislators. So we have our local leaders here as well. But you think about the fact that so many people take these lines. The numbers keep going up and up and up. I looked at the numbers for October alone. 6.5 million people took Metro North in October alone, and that's a 16% increase from 1 year ago. So people want to be back. This is their preferred mode of transportation. And you think about the 90% of the commuters who take regional transit, and let's break down, we're here in Putnam County, they have about 2,400 people who take the train into the central business district. More than 50% more than those who take cars. It's extraordinary the number of people who have opted into taking this public transportation. Now, what do they see when they come to a place like this? You may not notice it, but I'll tell you, you would notice if you saw it all crumbling down. So these are improvements. Significant repairs, safety upgrades across every single platform, new railing, new strips, crucial concrete repairs. Now, I will tell you, these are not glamorous, but they must be done and they cost money. And this is how we keep the system safe for millions of our commuters every single day. Now, we're not done. We're continuing with our improvements here at Garrison as well. And whether you're commuting in from Putnam County or the Bronx, everybody deserves a world-class experience. And one more thing that's important, and I have a husband who commutes into the city from Albany every week and takes Amtrak. On-time performance is everything. We need that of reliability to make sure that our commuters know they're not going to be late for work. So we have maintained a 98, 99% extraordinary on-time performance, and that is amazing. That is amazing, and I'm so proud of that. And that's just not a number. That's countless commuters getting where they have to in a reliable way that's on time. Now, I will also say this. There are some people, elected officials, who do not believe in investing in public transit. Yes, sad but true. We're right now investing $1.5 billion as a result of our congestion plan into Metro North. $1.5 billion just into this rail line from that one source alone. But then also our next capital plan. Our next capital plan, which we are very supportive, will be the largest capital plan in our state's history, in MTA's history. I'm committed to supporting this. Together, that'll result in almost $9 billion of investments to the Metro North system. And that work's already begun. We have the Penn Access commute improvements to help travelers from the Bronx, Westchester, and Connecticut. They'll soon have direct access to Penn Station. Massive renovation of the Park Avenue Viaduct. This is a 130-year-old structure that carries 98% of Metro North trains. Failure is not an option. It'll paralyze our whole region if these investments are not made, and again, they have to be paid for. So the reality is very simple. Our suburbs and our cities all must succeed together. And I'll never stop fighting to make sure that our commuters, every commuter, every New Yorker who relies on this system has what they need. And so those who want to play political games with our transportation future, instead of ensuring that we have reliable service, I have a simple message. Look at the facts, look at the investments, look at the results. And I assure you that the people you claim to represent have a very different opinion of what they're looking for in their transportation system. So now we have an opportunity to focus on what unites us, not what divides us, and what should unite all of us is our ambition and our objective and our ultimate goal to have a world-class transportation system that works for every single New Yorker, and that's what we're talking about here today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you Jana Lieber, the Chair and CEO of the MTA.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for coming here to Garrison to highlight the investments that have been made and are being made in Metro North under your leadership. We're at a pivotal moment when it comes to regional transportation. Nowhere is that more reflected than here on Metro North, which spans 3 different lines that cross 2 states and 9 counties. The Hudson Valley is really dependent on Metro North. Coming out of COVID, as the governor has acknowledged, ridership was in the tank. Folks were working in their living rooms and the trains were empty. But we made a bet on transit, and this governor, working with the legislature, came up with the money to make sure that, unlike the rest of the country, we wouldn't be reducing service, cutting transit, looking at layoffs, looking at the death spiral, but we made a bet on transit. And you know what? It paid off. Metro North is shattering ridership records. The governor talked about this, but I want to underscore it. Metro North is shattering ridership records, and that, you know, it's up to 90% of pre-COVID. We're basically where we were before COVID. And the weekends, Kathy Rinaldi has done an amazing job, routinely surpass 100% of pre-COVID. And there, as the governor emphasized, it cannot be talked about enough. You're talking about historic on-time performance, historic levels of reliability, 98.2%, never before experienced on this railroad. And those numbers are going to continue to rise when some of the investments that the governor's talking about come to pass, including new locomotives for the northern section of the Hudson line, as well as other lines. Listen, and we're also investing in system-wide accessibility, the ADA compliance, another Kathy Hochul push. We're at 114 stations fully ADA compliant out of 124, and the governor led us to resolving longstanding issues with the disability community, and now everybody, whether they have a stroller, whether they're a senior, or whether they're in a wheelchair, has full access to almost the entire Metro North system. And here at Garrison, we've made huge investments, in part thanks to the leadership and the not-so-gentle advocacy of my friend, the MTA Board Finance Chair, Neil Zuckerman, who you'll hear from in a minute. Listen, Putnam County is punching above its weight on the MTA board, and the county executive ain't here, but I have to acknowledge his partnership as well. And I want to acknowledge the governor's support. She mentioned it for the coming MTA Capital Program, which is going to be in front of the legislature in the new session in 2025 in Albany. I know you have made that with a priority. But right now, we've highlighted the fact that the Hudson line needs investments in part to make sure that climate change doesn't overwhelm it. And if we don't do something soon, it will be in the river in effect. So we're already making those investments up and down the Hudson line, including in the Bronx, which is where we're underwater. One of those storms they used to say storm of the century, and now seem to happen every 3 months. We've already done work. So Metro North and the MTA are so proud of the amazing stride that we have made, and under Governor Hochul's leadership, I know that we're going to continue to make that progress. Thank you so very much. Kathy?
Thank you, Jano, and thank you, Governor. I'm Kathy Rinaldi. I'm the president of Metro North Railroad. We are thrilled and honored to have the governor here today to celebrate the improvements here at Garrison Station. As Jano indicated, as the governor indicated, I mean, this is the heart of the Hudson Valley and very exposed. If you look out the window of this train here, the river is right here. The platform here is subject to the elements. Over the years, it's seen wind and rain and salt deteriorating the condition of these platforms. So the work that we're celebrating here today, replace the platforms, the tactile strips, refurbish the stairs, and really creates a customer experience that's worthy of this railroad. And we wouldn't be able to do it without the support, the partnership that we have with the state of New York and with Governor Hochul's office. We are so grateful for the investments that are being made. But as Jano said, it's really just the beginning. Our customers deserve a modern, reliable system. We're providing an amazing service. I'm so proud of the Metro North employees who participate in bringing that service to our customers every single day, but we need the infrastructure investments to be able to support that continued service. We need investments in stations like the investments that we've seen here in Garrison today. We need the investments in rolling stock. We need the investments in the resiliency of the Hudson Line. I'm a Hudson Line commuter myself, and I see every day why those investments are necessary. Every weekend we carry people, up from the city to enjoy the Hudson Valley. We have ridership into the Hudson Valley that exceeds the levels that we were seeing prior to the pandemic. This is the economic engine of the region. We are so grateful for the investments that have been made that recognize this and that will build upon this in the future. And I just want to say, for all the Kathys out there, we are so grateful. You are an inspiration to all the Kathys out there, and thank you for joining this Kathy today, because we're just really, really grateful that you're here today to celebrate our success. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and now I'd like to introduce Nancy Montgomery, Putnam County Legislator.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Years of underinvestment have plagued the MTA. I'd like to really thank Governor Hochul for her commitment to investment in my hometown. Here in Putnam, public transportation is very limited. Metro North is it. That's all we have in my district. Any investment in its infrastructure only helps here at Phillipstown and Putnam Valley. And also a big thank you to Neil Zuckerman, Putnam County's representative to the MTA and chair of the important finance committee. Your advocacy for the upper counties and your commitment to the safety have made all the difference for the future of Hudson Valley, for the environment, and most of all, for safety in our public transportation system. I'd like to also thank Kathy Rinaldo and Jano for their commitment. Let's do this, Albany. You can travel anywhere outside of this county, in any state, in any country, and find a better transit system. So let's invest in our public transit system so we could be the winners here in New York. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the town of Phillipstown, the town supervisor here in Phillipstown. And I appreciate the opportunity to directly thank you for your investment here in Garrison and in the Metro North Station. Interestingly enough, in 1990, I was a union carpenter. I was about 12 at that point. I worked to build the station. It was a ground level gravel station, and we brought it up and raised it to a state-of-the-art elevated platform with ADA compliance. I can't tell you enough about what this rail line does to our community. It truly is the aorta of our community. We are a residential community, commuters both north and south. So we can't thank you enough for investing back into this community, ensuring our future. So thank you very much. And I'd like to introduce Neil Zuckerman, my dear friend. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Well, I'm cleanup. Welcome to my town in the shadow of my alma mater over there. It's an honor to have you here, Governor. Thank you. It means a great deal. And your leadership from the finance perspective for years, especially last summer when you solved the problem that the MTA was facing. You made our jobs actually fairly easy, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Jano, thank you for your leadership, your team you put together. While he's not here, I want to thank the county executive, Kevin Byrne. Kevin's a Republican, I'm a Democrat, but we're bipartisan. That's why I'm his nominee on this board. And as LaGuardia said, there's no Democrat or Republican way to pick up the garbage. So we're tied on this. And then, of course, Nancy has been my partner for some time. No one has personally suffered as much as she has by our lack of investment. And so thank you, Nancy, for your leadership. Three quick things I want to say with the lens as a finance guy. The first is the small things. At this station, we had spalling concrete. We had rebar exposed. I actually brought a piece of rebar to a board meeting once and held it up as a little wand to show what we need to do. And through Kathy's leadership, Jano's support, and our capital team, we solved that problem. So it means a great deal, your investment. But the big things are why we're really here. We have the biggest capital plan we've ever had, $68 billion. That's about $14 billion a year. That's kind of 1% of the $1.5 trillion asset. We are finally spending what this system needs to keep it going. And it will not be this one plan. It's going to have to be many plans, which comes to my final point, which is New York State's expensive. The governor, in her announcement yesterday about trying to put more money in people's pockets, this is the key. This state is expensive. And the problem is that this state sends so much money to Washington. 82 cents on a dollar goes to Washington. $56 billion is our deficit with Washington. Our legislature, our representatives in Washington, those in Washington need to be advocating because, frankly, our infrastructure should not be only on the backs of riders and taxpayers and paid and helped by the governor. It should be done by Washington because our infrastructure supports not just New York, but the country, and I'd even say the world. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and thank you all for coming here.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a couple questions. We're going to start with on topics. This train has to leave very soon, so we got to keep it brief, folks.
It's a real train.
Who's going to start? Just put it in here. All right, Marcia, there you go.
So, Governor, I actually have two questions for you. The first one, I point out to you that this station is in Putnam County, which is represented in Congress by, oh my God, Mike Lawler. And I wonder,
Did you guys know that?
he does represent.
I represent the whole state, so
I know, but the thing is that he's been very anti-congestion pricing. So my first question is, what message do you have to him and others who are against congestion pricing about what this means in terms of what congestion pricing can do for localities?
Right, and people who are more interested in weaponizing issues and ignoring the needs of their constituents, they can deal with that with their own electorate. I say this. These are critically important investments that are not for the entire state. It is a geographic area from the Hudson Valley, the city, out to Long Island. That region cannot function at the level it should if we do not have a high-functioning, well-financed, supported infrastructure system for public transportation. That is what I'm committing to with this. And those who do not support this and want everybody just to drive cars in, they don't even know their own numbers. I mean, Putnam County, 1% of all the residents of Putnam County, statistically, work in the central business district. More than 2/3 take this train in. So he's trying to appeal to a very small number of people to the detriment of the vast majority. And I think that's what people should be talking about. Jan, I think you had a conversation asking for more federal funds. Exactly. And are you still waiting for an answer back on that?
Yeah, you got it. I mean, you made the point. We got it in the Hudson Valley. 80% of the people who go to the CBD take transit. Period. And so let's talk about them. And as the governor is, rather than only talking about the 1% who actually drive there. I did ask Mike Lawler when he came to threaten me about congestion pricing. Would you do something to help the MTA? I mean, we are 45% of the nation's mass transit riders. We get 17% of federal money. You're in the majority, sir. Can you help us? Not a word. Not a word in response.
That's your answer.
My second question
That's
is
your
this.
answer.
I just have a second question. So out in Hauppauge today, a group of Republican lawmakers in Albany, state senators and others are proposing a bill that would establish a financial control board to oversee the finances of the MTA. I wonder how all of you feel about this.
It's called the state legislature. It's called the governor. We are not looking to have people with political agendas try to subvert our efforts to deliver the best system possible. And yes, they all have their political reasons. You can see it. I can't be bogged down in that. I have to govern this state and do what's responsible, and that's my focus.
All right, last one, Jason.
Can this be off topic? All right.
Depends what it is, Jason.
Governor, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, your predecessor, said that the state should not make a settlement with Charlotte Bennett after that case between her and your predecessor was dismissed or no longer is active. What do you say to his letter to the lawyers of the state of New York that they should drop this lawsuit?
Let me say this. 3 years ago, I entered this position knowing I had a major job to do. And that was ensure that every member of the state workforce, for the first time, felt safe. That there was recourse for them when they had something that they thought should be shared and understood, and not have a system of cover-up and denials. So I had to do a great deal in terms of changing the culture, retraining people, signing the Adult Survivors Act so voices that had been suppressed could come forward. And I'm not going to talk about the specifics of any case, but there are voices that still need to be heard.
And on congestion pricing, what's your strategy? You know, Trump, his critics say he's very temperamental. He can change his mind very quickly. Do you have a strategy in order to ensure that he doesn't do that? Does that involve being conciliatory, being flattering to him? You know, he likes that. What's your strategy to make sure he doesn't change his mind on a dime?
I will tell you, I don't play games. I'm not going to flatter somebody. I'm going to tell you this. He understands more than any previous president how important this system is. It is the lifeblood of our city and our region. He still is a significant landowner. He's still an employer. He still has resources in this area, and he knows what will happen if we don't make these investments and the system becomes crippled. So I know that he will look at those facts and work with me, as he said he wants to do, to make sure that we can achieve our common objective of solving New York City and the region's problems and giving people the service and the systems they deserve.
Okay, train has to literally leave the station.
Okay, everybody run. Okay, all right. Thanks, Marcia. What was that?
Go out this way.